goes better. For a long time, when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, it was all predicated on mixed martial arts. So it was not uncommon for me to get into this position intentionally. I like being in the guard. I feel like my defense is pretty good here, and I can instill big damage from here. So long as I maintain correct posture, etc., etc. But in sport jiu-jitsu, what we find is, like we found this weekend, there are people who train jiu-jitsu for hours at a time, high-level competitors, that they can do this for hours. If you guys remember, I did a roll-a-thon not too long ago for my friend Bo. I rolled for like 4 hours, some 15 minutes or something like that. It was only at that point when I had person after person after person that my legs started to cramp up, but I was able to hold this guard, half guard, and other guards for a long, long time because I've developed that capability, that lactic acid tolerance in my legs. What happened was I used to get really comfortable pounding people out here, and what do you think happens when you punch somebody or elbow somebody in the face? They open their legs really fast. To use them to distance you from them, right? If he can get his feet in between me and him, I can't obviously hit him or damage him the same way. So I didn't have as much necessity in the mixed martial arts realm to guard open because I had simple tools to do it. In sport jiu-jitsu, everything's different. In sport jiu-jitsu, this competitor can hang on for enough, 10 minutes at least, which is why potentially our guys lost that match. What you saw was our person putting a bunch of stacking pressure into that person. But we know that in sport jiu-jitsu, a little bit different than MMA, this is good for him in many ways. He has a lot of options within his guard. The guard is one of the first positions that are taught in most classes. So he's good here. He's much better here than he would be in MMA. This is considered an advantageous position. Do I want to be on the bottom? Not really. I always prefer to be on the top where I can apply pressure. But what kind of pressure? Is it postural pressure? Is it stacking pressure? When I put on stacking pressure and I do things like this, it's not uncommon for people with strong guards to pass and put me in compromising positions, getting back exposure, the arm triangle like we saw this weekend. And the arm triangle didn't finish, but it was still an attempt, right? I can't do the same things in sport jiu-jitsu here, and I cannot relegate myself to being able to open his guard by putting my hands on him. You see this all the time. I'm just gonna dig my elbows. You guys know that don't work. Against a real competitor, if you dig your elbows into their legs, they laugh at you inside. They push your arm in, they throw triangles up, all kinds of things. My main point is his legs are designed in sport jiu-jitsu to maintain the guard for long periods of time without fatigue. So then, how do I pass? Well, there are ways to pass from kneeling, right? Some of the old school where I'll use the belt, sometimes I'll even roll this up, the pants, right? We use lapels. And how do we do this? Well, common way, we push the belt up. This one I learned from Carlson Gracie. Slide a knee back, break. But against like a high-level black belt, I don't like hanging out inside people's with my arms extended, right? So I spent a lot of time in the beginning doing that type of pass. I feel like as the competition level went up, as I rolled with higher level competitors, doing this is only getting me armbarred, it's only getting me swept, it's only getting me tipped. How then can I create some condition where it's easier to break the legs open? And when I say break the legs, there's a distinction. I don't mean pass the guard. I mean just get them open so that I can start to pass the guard. Standing up. Standing up is the only way that you're gonna wear out the person because then their entire body weight due to gravity is suspended in the air. Right now, Eric's not working. He's chilling. He has crossed his legs and he'll maintain that connection long enough to get me to where he needs to be. But once I stand up, now he has two problems. One, he has to hold on to me and attack me. Two, he has to do so while gravity is pulling him off of my body. He's maintaining his entire weight, where right now, he's just laying on the floor chilling out. So how do I get to a standing position? That's the main thing. Because if I can get to standing, I can convince him much easier using physics, using the power of gravity to open up his legs, and that's where I can start to pass the guard. Otherwise, I might relegate myself to sitting inside somebody's guard, putting a ton of pressure on him like Zach did on Saturday, but having 2 submission attempts versus 1 and losing a match. So, first of all, I don't ever like to be flat on my feet. There will be times, I suppose, because we never speak in absolutes, where I'll be flat on my feet, but one thing you have to understand about me being flat on the tops of my feet, my shoelaces, is I'm not mobile. There is no sport in the world that starts you here. Not sprinting, not football, not baseball, nothing. So I want to make sure that I am always on my toes. This means you need to work on your toe flexibility so you can get comfortable here. The next thing I'm going to do is pin the shoulders. I cannot afford to stand up while he can move and twist and tip me over or try to attack my shoulders. So I'm going to pin his shoulders, and the easiest way I found to do this is to V-block in the armpits or to use some similar method to pin the shoulders down. When I do this, it becomes more difficult for him to create that angle that he needs to create. We'll just assume we're a no-gi situation like we were Saturday night. I'm gonna V-block here. Of course, I will not compromise my posture. I have to keep my posture. But from here, I can push through his shoulders. The driving mechanism, my feet. That will be not only a pinning mechanism for him, but it'll be an anchor for me to get up in a stable way. And if I'm on my toes, as long as I don't hover over him where he could get control of my collar, get control of my head, I can spring to my feet. You notice the angle of my feet. I'm not trying to jump straight up into the sky for obvious reasons. I'm still trying to keep some element of posture while I spring to my feet. And in doing so, I get to a standing position, one where he's hanging off my body while his shoulders are pinned until I decide I want to let go. I can use the exact same thing with the gi. I feel like this is even more effective. It's even harder to slip out of this because now I'm not sitting over his shoulders. If I put my hands on his shoulders and I go to stand up, he doesn't even have to do anything. It's probable that I'll slip off his shoulders and give him what he wants. I'm either V-blocking or I'm in the armpits with the lapels. I drive off my feet to a standing position using this as my anchor. Boom. And then I can get to a standing position, right? This is not the guard pass yet. But now he's having to hang off me. All of the pressure now is on the back of his legs. And it becomes much easier now for me to break the guard, to step away and start passing, or go directly in. Put my pressure in, go to headquarters, knee cut, whatever your favorite pass is. This is just simply a more efficient way to encourage high-level opponents to open up their legs and to start playing an open guard game. We know that as long as we're in here, we're not scoring. We need to get out of here, so why not use physics? Why not use a mechanical advantage? Why sit here and play in the danger zone of his legs and his guard when I can get to an elevated position? This is something that I wish I would have known before. Because if I would have done this with more consistency in MMA, I would have gotten to even better positions where I could drop bombs. I feel like this, when you consider physics and you consider principles and concepts, is a superior way to open a guard. I feel like had Zach done this, probably the 2-3 minute mark, Will's legs might have tired after time and he would have a better chance of advancing position and looking for submissions. Because as long as I'm here, what submissions do I have? Neck crank. And to do a neck crank, I have to come into his world. I have to risk elbows slipping to the center line. It's super easy to armbar off a neck crank. Not very easy to do anything from here. Okay? So that's what I want to practice doing. We're gonna spring to our feet, get posture. We're gonna put 2 thumbs on the inside of his knee, and I can lean my weight over one of my feet so that both of my arms straighten. When both of my arms straighten, I have that stiff arm, that Heisman type of thing. Just using range of motion here. Slide that leg out, I've broken the guard. If you need more, if you have a longer opponent, You get in here, you tilt, and you can start. There are so many ways that I can pass here, provided I don't do anything catastrophic, right? I could also just back out and go. Imagine the difference, even in a mixed martial arts fight, of me standing in the guard or sitting in the guard for prolonged amounts of time and hitting him and giving him opportunities to hit me, versus standing up over him where he can't submit me, he can't hit me, he can't do anything to me, save maybe try to roll underneath me and get to my legs. When I stand, we know that there's no perfect techniques, there's only situational techniques. When I stand, I have a mechanical advantage, so if there's any advantage that this opens up for him, or advantages, what are they? You guys tell me. What could he do better when I'm standing than he could do when I was kneeling? He could off-balance me because my center of gravity is higher, right? If I have good structure, I still enjoy the benefits of my mechanical advantage, but center of gravity is what center of gravity is. What else? Easier access to the legs. Thank you very much. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to get in our guards. We're going to lock up some good guards, really tight control. We're going to use this good structure, the V blocks, inside position with the lapels, both. We're going to spring to our feet, lean over our foot, and shimmy, 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 shake that leg right off of us, moving the legs up so that we can pass. If you guys feel the necessity to transition into a pass so that you're working this into your game, pick the pass that you like and do it. Okay? Any questions on this? Guys, if you want to make opening the guard or a dynamic guard player like myself easier, don't spend your time on your knees. Get on your feet and get mobile. You are going to be faster, more explosive, more mobile on your feet than you will ever be kneeling on your knees. Even worse than kneeling on your knees, relegating yourself to letting your opponent know that you're not even playing. This is just me sitting down. Good low base, but I'm not very mobile here, obviously. Okay? Here, B block, up to a standing position. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.